Welcome back to Sports Talk ATL. I am Chase Earl, joined by Alex Sword. We have broken down the keys to the Falcons versus Lions earlier in the show. We gave our predictions for the contest. We both have the Falcons moving to 3-0, which, wow, that would be spectacular. I'm going to 3-0 and then traveling to Jacksonville and London. I mean, that might be the most excited I've ever been for a 9:30 in my life. A 9:30 wake up. I mean, that might be the most excited if that happens. I mean, I'll still be excited 2-1, but 3-0? Woo! Drinks will be flowing early.
I was going to say, I'll be 3 screwdrivers deep by 9.
Oh, my God. I mean, I'll have my alarm. I mean, I don't even think I need an alarm for that. I'll be like, oh, my God, Falcons playing 9:30. Let's go.
It's like before Christmas. I can't sleep.
It really will. I mean, God, this team has got me excited. And I love how it's worked out because we talked about the offseason, how there's a little excitement brewing. Like, I'm excited for the first time, and they didn't just crush it right away. They have only made it grow. And I think everyone's starting to feel it, even the guys that were doubting to begin the season. Let's get into bold predictions now about this game. And you mentioned something early in the week, and do I want to steal it or do I want to let you talk about it? I'll let you talk about it because I'm going to go with probably the boldest prediction I can possibly go. Desmond Ridder has his first game over 300 yards passing.
That is bold.
I think he builds off his confidence in that fourth quarter. I think we see a different – I think the moxie that he shows in that fourth quarter, I think he's going to show throughout the entire game. We've talked about this Lions defense. They're very vulnerable, especially with the injuries. I think Cordell Patterson's coming back. That's going to help him out. Bijan Robinson's going to be involved in the passing game like he always is. You talked about Kyle Pitts earlier this week. I'm not going to say what we might say later in this segment, but I think he has a big game. I think Drake London has a game. I think these weapons, this offense, has its best game of the season against a very gettable Lions defense. Desmond Ridder goes over 300 yards, first time in his career.
That would be wild. That would be wild.
It has to happen.
Which is so crazy that we're talking about it.
It has to happen eventually, right? I bet if we went back over the last 2 seasons and looked at the Lions and how many 300 yards passers they give up, I bet it's an astronomical amount.
Yeah, so in order for Desmond Ridder to have that kind of game, you said it, the big game in terms of the weapons is going to be Kyle Pitts. You know, Bijan Robinsons are always going to be featured. He's going to have, 1,500 yards from more than 50. He's going to have closer to 2,000 yards from scrimmage. Drake London had a game, a kind of get-right game. It's Kyle Pitts' turn. And there's a few reasons for that. Arthur Smith doesn't operate under the assertion like many offensive coordinators do when they get pressured by their star receivers. You see it with the Bills that they force feed Stephon Diggs. He's a stud. Nobody's arguing about that. But it happens a lot. Arthur Smith doesn't operate under that direction. What he does is he identifies matchups, identifies, what can we do to attack this defense, and it's Kyle Pitts' turn. Like I said, Bijan Robinson always going to be featured. Drake London, he might get a couple targets, obviously. Kyle Pitts. Last week against the Seahawks, the linebackers for Detroit gave up 14 of 14 targets for a near-perfect passer rating. And on top of that, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who is their safety, who's kind of a tight end eraser, if you could call him that. He's a very good player. We all hate him in Atlanta, but he's a very good player. He's out. He's on the IR. So this is a prime time opportunity for Arthur Smith to dial up plays for Kyle Pitts. Now, the bold prediction. Over 100, which is crazy. This shouldn't be that bold, but as we've seen, it is bold. Over 100 yards, touchdown, 10 catches. Kyle Pitts, book it.
I'm going to stick with the tight ends. We haven't heard his name a lot. Jonnu Smith gets in the end zone. He gets in the end zone on Sunday.
He had a big game last week. He had a big game. The tight end screens with Jonnu Smith, I love them. I love them. I can't say how I actually feel. This is a kids network. We're a kid-friendly show. But the tight end screens with Jonnu Smith, that's a good one. I got another one for you. We're going to switch sides. Grady Jarrett, David Onyemata combine for 4 sacks. I don't know who gets one, who gets 3,
sacks,
but they both get 2. 4 sacks from those two guys alone.
I think they're 2 top 15 players in the league right now in pressure rate, and those are eventually going to turn into sacks. Pressures turn into sacks over the course of the entire season. We talked about, we don't even want to say his name because we never can get it right. Lions have an injured guard. He could be out. I like that. I like that. I just, in general, I don't really have another one on defense because I do think the Lions are going to move the ball. I could say Jesse Bates is the big guy. Is that bold? Like, no. Maybe Jeff Okudah gets a pick, but I think I'm just saying that in hopes that he returns and like against his former team and has one.
So it would have been bold to I was going to do this. I knew we were going to do some sort of bold prediction, and I was going to, up until last game, Jared Goff had the longest stretch. I think pass attempts or games started, or maybe both, without an interception. And then he threw a costly pick 6 against Seattle. So I was going to say that he has his first pick in quite a long time, but he's already broken his own streak. So I won't go in that direction. Another direction I will go to, the special teams haven't been special just yet. Younghoe Koo, go-ahead field goal, but that's a pitch and catch for him. That's not I think it was a 25-yard field goal, 24-yard field goal. That's nothing. I don't know where it comes from, punt return, punt coverage, kickoff, kick return, field goal, whatever. The special teams are special this week in some capacity. They're a difference maker.
I like that. One thing I want to say before we wrap up this segment is I'm telling you this, when Cordell Patterson gets on the field, I've been really impressed with Mac Hollins. We obviously still love Drake London and Kyle Pitts. Bijan Robinson is a superstar. Tyler Algier is a bowling ball. Jonnu Smith gets involved. We talked about these offensive weapons all season. They are starting to look like something. If Desmond Ridder can just become a guy, this is going to be one of the most dangerous offenses in football. When you pair it with that good defense, I think the Falcons could be better than we ever thought they could be this season. I really do. This could be, it's going to be up to Ridder, but they've got the pieces in place to be special. Coming up after the break, we're going to break down the Big 12.